CK, I'm 32, and this is Money Therapy.
Hi, CK.
Hi, Rachel.
How you doing?
Good.
Oh, the dog is over here.
Very good.
She's growling at us a little bit. I think she wants to be in the shot.
Yeah.
Where are you coming from?
Today, I'm coming from the Upper East Side after teaching.
Okay. Where are you teaching?
Make Inspires on York.
Cool.
Yeah.
So is that sort of your primary income? What do you do for a living beyond teaching?
Oh, well, I was just talking to myself about this yesterday. Some months I make more doing acting and modeling things, and some months I make more teaching. The last couple of weeks have been teaching.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, and right before we started this recording, we said, this is going to be Money Therapy.
Yeah.
And there was a reaction. There was like some, kind of feeling of like a little bit of anxiety that I sensed. Where was that coming from?
It was maybe a little like part anxiety and like part excitement of getting myself to this spot with you and committing to it, knowing that this is for my highest good. Yeah. That we're moving in the right. I was just telling a coworker, actually, we got off work and I was telling him, I was like, I'm actually going to go speak to a finance person about my finances. And we're in similar situations. And I was telling him, I was like, maybe I can refer you. He's like, yeah, I need help with, so I'm glad that you reached out and that we're here.
Yeah. I'm glad we're here too. Yeah. And I'm also glad that, between the last time we spoke and now, it sounds like a lot has improved also, right? When we spoke, you had $0 in savings and now you've got $1,600 in a savings account, which is absolutely not nothing. It's way more than, I'd say, 30-40% of Americans have not enough money to tide them over for a basic expense. So I think that's amazing. And so what I want to do is I want us to dig into a little bit of the numbers. Okay. See what's going on, and let's unpack some things. So, you mentioned that right now you're making some money from teaching, you're making some money from acting gigs,
modeling gigs.
What you reported to me was that you're making about $1,500 a month, right? Which New York, it's not easy. Yeah. So, what are sort of your goals there in terms of your income?
Well, 2 weeks ago, I had to go to the emergency vet. So that was $500 in a credit card that I had to take out. That dropped my credit score down to 570 from it was like 630. And then this past Sunday, I had to get my van fixed. It got told I had to pay another $500 to get a new alternator and all that stuff. So that kind of set me back a little bit. But I was still in my mind, I was like, but at least I'm able to do this. Yeah. So $1,500 on average is okay only because I've taken care of the credit stuff that allows me to take out more because I need to, because I live in my van, I have to get these things fixed. I can't leave my cat with her eye oozing with pus, $1,500 is an estimate in terms of what I've been making with the extra work that I've picked up with my teaching job. On paper, I'm only supposed to be making $97.50 a week. Okay. That's the one class the 2 classes that I'm guaranteed every week. But because I'm picking up subs and birthday parties and the like, I'm making my paycheck every 2 weeks is like $9.34 on average. Okay. Yeah.
Gotcha. And when did you decide to do van life and why?
It was 2021. I was living in Bushwick. It was my 5th year, and my landlord said we could renew our lease, so I was still paying rent, even though nobody was really paying rent during that time. I was still like, no, I want to keep my relationship with this person good. I've been here for 5 years. I want to stay. A lot of stuff changed. I was doing real estate at the time, and I think I closed my 3rd or 4th deal, and I felt my soul disappear. I can't really describe it, but I woke up on a Friday. I know it's distinct. I woke up on a Friday, and I was like, I am not going to go see this client. Nothing in my body wants to do this. I'm going to tell my boss, thank you so much for giving me this opportunity, but I choose my soul. And it was that point in time when I think the universe heard me. I applied for a grant to go to San Francisco to do a one-woman show that I've been working on called Who the Fuck is Cho Chang? And I got waitlisted. And the next day, after I finished that grant, I sent it off. I applied for a PPP loan, and I got it in my bank account. Oh. So I had all this money. I was like, and it was funny because I opened my bank account. I looked at the money that was in my bank account, which I had $300 at the time on unemployment. And I rolled over and went to sleep, and I knew money would never make me happy. Yeah. So we're in this space right now where I want the lifestyle that I want, but I also know that it's not going to actually make me happy. So I was like, okay, what is going to have to change deeper than me just having money, numbers in my bank account?
Yeah.
I knew in my heart that I've been wanting to work on this album for like 7 years. I have all the songs ready. I had this place in Tennessee that nobody's been in for 15 years. I was on Craigslist looking for a van. I found the van. I took an Uber to Long Island, bought the van that night, drove it back, and I was like, okay, quit my job. I was like, this is happening.
Yeah.
Packed my shit up and put my cat inside and moved to Tennessee pretty much within like 2 months.
And so what was you said that money wasn't the thing that you really wanted. You wanted a certain lifestyle.
Yeah.
What was the thing that you wanted?
Ease, peace. I want to wake up happy, Rachel. I want to wake up in a space that like I don't think I've ever been in until I was maybe like a kid. Like just knowing that like everything's okay. Family, friends, self, spirit, God, like everything. Like the world, like in that kind of like, and even if the world isn't, you know, so much, because it's all reflection of ourselves, it's like, okay, it's like, oh, this is so deep. Like, I'll make a TikTok today about like what's going on in the world, but it's like, what are we doing to hurt ourselves? Because it's a reflection of that on a much larger scale. So
the last time we spoke, you know, the first time we spoke, you told me that there was a time when you know, were in a lot of debt.
Yeah.
You're still in some, but in a lot more. And you had a certain realization about what got you there. Talk to me about sort of that time.
It was a really irresponsible grad school, being in higher education for 8 years and not being in the real world, and being like, man, I'm going to go to California and do a road trip for 3 weeks with my best friend. You know, a very different mindset. I was not taking care of myself, and just like along that line of like self-love.
Yeah.
Right? Because I shared with you, like, it was only when I Googled how to be financially stable that I think it was Ramit or someone saying that you want to be financially stable so that you have a future. And I was like, oh, because I didn't even know that I didn't even want that for myself.
Yeah.
So those 10 months in the woods was necessary for me to find the clarity and to just like really just clean everything and like what really is the thing.
So now, you know, as you think about what you want to do in the future, what's that like one thing that you visualize as that goal, as that thing that you want money for? Beyond, you mentioned peace, you mentioned security, that's all super important. We find that, you know, when you have, it's a little bit hard to visualize that sometimes. So is there a certain picture in your mind that you have when you think about what that looks like to you?
Going to Whole Foods and not having to worry about anything. Because on EBT, you can go to Whole Foods, right? Okay. So I was trying to explain this to my father. I was like, the reason why I don't ever want to be on, because being actually wealthy is going to Whole Foods and being able to afford hot food.
Yeah.
So I'm so sorry. And being on EBT, I have to not do that. I can't. Yeah. And my boyfriend was like, well, you can technically if you know sneak around. I was like, I don't want to have to live like that. Like, so being wealthy is being able to afford things without any hiding or like thinking, or, you know, it's just like even like me doing these things now, it's just sort of like this take or like giving of myself, you know, it's just sort of ease. And like, I really want $26 olives right now, like you know, not just for me too. It's like, I'm having a party, so and so would really love this type of, you know what I mean, like like that. And then I'm like, oh, I really want to have pasta. I'm gonna look at plane tickets right now to go to Italy because I really want this. I really want to go back to Florence, and I know this gelato place that I visited before, like that.
Yeah. So, I mean, when I look at your numbers, right? So, like we said, you're making $1,500. You're spending around $1,000. Yeah. You know, to $1,200 a month. Not a lot. Yeah. And you've got like $300 on your debt payments. Yeah. You've got $5,000 in debt, which is. Or at least that's what you reported.
Less now, yeah.
Less now? Yeah. Oh, how much do you have now?
I want to say like 30. Okay, but Rachel, I'm not counting the IRS. Oh. That's a whole...
Okay, so you're not setting aside money for taxes. Okay. Why not?
So I'm not paying for war anymore.
That's a whole other discussion.
But it is tied, and I'm being...
But they're going to come after you for it. So whether or not you support certain things or don't support certain things, they're going to come after you for it.
This is how I got into debt. It's this like I can't. It's the same energy of me quitting my job. It's the same energy of me going to the woods. It's the same energy of me not accepting certain roles that promote alcohol or promote meat products. Like, that's just me though, you know. It's a very personal thing. I feel like my relationship with God right now is like, it's all right. Like, he understands like where I'm coming from and what I'm doing, the downloads that I've received. People have called me crazy my whole life. I'm okay with that. It's only until like 3 or 4 or 5 years later people are like, oh shit, like, you were fucking right about this. And it's like, okay guys, like, I've been saying this for a while now, and I have no friends, Rachel, because of this. But it's okay because like, I don't know, like 10 months alone in the woods can do, you know.
I understand you. Look, I hate paying taxes too. Like, I live in New York. I want to move down to Florida so I don't have to pay taxes anymore.
But it's not about tax. I would 100% pay for potholes and
you don't want to pay bridges. For things you don't feel
correct.
At the same time, you don't. Okay, so what? You're gonna selectively pay New York state tax that goes towards your potholes in the roads and everything, but not the federal tax.
The system is going through a deep shift. Things that we can't see, things that we don't see. I don't have a crystal ball that I can show you, except the things that I've said before and that they've been proven right. I don't have an astrologer that I speak to, but it's just like a knowing that the tax situation right now it is what it is now, but it's not going to be what it is in the future, and it's up to us. And maybe because I teach kids and like I'm around them a lot, like I can see them already like coming up with different systems, and I really trust that the system right now hasn't been working. It's not been working. It's failing. It's literally on its way out. Give it 2 more years maybe, and then there's a different world coming, and I'm laying the groundwork. I'm okay to stand alone, but we're never really alone right now, to lay the foundation and to keep teaching and building the things that I'm building, so that when the time comes, I'm like, okay, we're ready to go.
Look, I mean, right now, the position that you're in, I feel like you're making an amount that they likely, you're small fish, so I don't think they'll be coming after you for the big bucks anyway. I
hear you.
That being said, you know, I imagine you have some wishes to eventually make more money. Right? And at that point, you know, again, up to you. Like, your life is your life. I'm not telling you what to do. Dealing with the IRS is not a fun time. I know that my co-founder, she had to pay taxes on scholarship money that she was given for school, which is the most ridiculous
thing. You see what I'm
thing.
saying? So then why are we placating into that system still?
Because we don't want to go to prison.
They won't come for us.
I mean, that's a thing. You know, you could go to jail. It's not.
I hear you.
Yeah, like I prefer paying money to, you know, being in prison.
I hear you.
There's something to that. But either way, okay, let's put aside taxes for a bit. We talked about, you know, you're pretty much at this point, you're spending about the amount that you're making, maybe a little bit less. You have a little bit coming towards savings. You now have, like you said, $1,600 in savings, which is amazing. What is, like, how much money do you feel that you need? And I'm going to tell you afterwards how much I feel could be good for you. Okay. How much money do you feel you need to give yourself that piece that you're looking for?
I want to be able to make $350 every day. Okay. That comes up to about $150, I think. I'm pretty sure $150,000
a year.
Yeah.
How do you want to get there?
Well, my curriculum is calling for me. I've started my own business, but I've taken a little pause because my kids don't want to Zoom anymore. So I'm moving into the possibility of renting a space so I can host my classes. I'm also creating a board game that I really want to get out into the world. And my children's book is getting illustrated. My music's coming along. I'm figuring out how I can make money in my sleep, essentially. And the only two things that I've been able to do that.
Well, how are you paying for all this? So the board game, the recording.
Recording, I work with a producer in Tennessee. That's an understanding.
Amazing.
I also produce myself, so I don't have to pay for a studio or anything like that. And the children's book, it hasn't really been very much. It's been like $250 to pay for the illustration so far. What was the other one? The board game, I'm willing to put in like $100. I'm speaking to this realtor right now to see if I can rent a space in Soho to have people sign up and stuff. And I was hosting a couples.com thing for a bit, so I know the people on there have been looking for an in-person event. So that's something that I'm looking towards. And
so one of the things I'm going to ask you about is, have you thought about, in the meantime, obviously you have these goals and you have these projects you're working on, things you want to do. they cost, obviously they cost money, and they cost you time, more importantly, right?
Yeah.
Where you're making $1,500 a month, and you're pretty much kind of meeting that in terms of your expenses. How have you thought at all about trying to get sort of, for now, for the moment, a stable job that is going to make you a little bit more money so that you could set aside more towards savings, build up that emergency fund so that then you have the ability to play around with that money and invest in yourself? Because one thing that I fear right now is that you're telling me about these projects you're working on, money, and you're investing in yourself, which is great, but you only have $1,600 in a bank account, which is great that you all, I'm not knocking that. $1,600 is money, but it's not an emergency fund, meaning that will last you for whatever reason, if you're not if like you said, something breaks down or it's gone. Right? In a second. So have you thought about, trying to get a job that makes you a little bit more, so that, let's say for 6 months you work really, really hard, save up enough money to kind of give yourself that cushion, right? In terms of your expenses, like you said, it's around $1,000. So what you need, give yourself 6 months. You need $6,000 in emergency fund.
Okay.
I think you could do that. If you made more money, you could do that in 6 to 8 months. If you work really hard. And then you that, quit that, and then now whatever you're making, you can start putting savings towards those investments in yourself. Has that ever been a consideration for
Always. I struggle with the 9-to-5 option all the time. I can't, and not just because I don't feel like I want to, it's spirit won't let me. Like, I'll get invited to interviews, and then I'll love the job, I'll think I'll love this school, I'll love to teach this curriculum, and then I will be faced with someone that wants to promote a different paradigm that I'm not into at all. And so I keep hitting these walls with the full-time job. It's like, no, I can work 9 to 5, I just have to make my own schedule, which has been working. Like, I wake up and I work, and I'm in front of I wake up at 4, I do my yoga, whatever, my self-care stuff, and then I'm in front of my laptop from 9, apply to my acting jobs, do my self-tapes, teach for a couple of hours, at night perform music, talk about my children's book. Like, I figured out this, this system. Last year it was not like this. So if I can get myself to this spot in 4 months, I feel like with the help, and keeping up the prayers and all that stuff, it's like, I'm okay. And have you thought about, obviously your expenses are already low, but because your income is low, you do qualify for a lot of benefits. You mentioned, obviously, you want to be able to buy Whole Foods, and you can't do that on EBT. Not the way that I want.
The way that you want. So, like, is that a sacrifice you are willing to make?
To go back on EBT?
To go back on EBT.
Yeah. For a little bit. Definitely. That's like $280 a month where I don't have to worry about food.
I would even think about it as that's $280 a month that you can go and spend on illustrators.
Also that.
Right? As opposed to because I'm trying to think about, right now you're not saving a ton, right? And so if you do want to invest in yourself and these projects you're working on, if working a 9 to 5 for you is like absolutely hell no, it's a no-go, like every time you've tried it just hasn't worked, and like this is the only lifestyle you can live, I'm trying to think about how can you make that work for you, where if 1 month like you're not generating a specific income that you need to be, you have enough savings that you can support yourself for multiple months. So there's 2 levers. It's either reducing your expenses, which they're already pretty low, but again, because you're low income, like they can go lower, or it's increasing your income. What about more hours in teaching? I pick up every single shift I can possibly get my hands on. That's the only reason why I've been able to like get a new laptop, for instance, because I pick up as many. I say yes to everything that they post. So when you say your soul doesn't let you, kind of with the 9 to 5 job, what is that paradigm? What is that thing that's like blocking you?
I can't serve the matrix.
What does that mean?
It means getting a 9 to 5.
Bring me into your world. Okay. I don't know what this means. Bring me into
Rachel.
your world.
I don't know, Rachel. It means, let's see. I can't be inside. I don't want to be in an office. I can't be in the same space every day. I can't be doing the same thing every day. my energy and where I'm being called is where spirit has me being in very strange places, my guy. Like, I can't even explain to you how spirit calls me to certain things, and then I meet the person that I am supposed to meet to the next thing, to the next thing, to the next thing. I don't know if I shared with you the goal of creating healing hubs, global healing hubs all over the world. But that's the long term. You ask me what the money's for, that's what it's for. Okay. It's driving through Mamaroneck and seeing these $9.8 million houses. And I was telling my boyfriend, I was like, come on, like, the only reason why you're doing this is because even are you housing 20 migrants? Like, are you taking care of like half of the, like, you know? So that's where the foundation, the stripping away, the cleaning out, the getting really clear on myself. And I was at a mushroom farm when I was farming. I told you I was farming for 10 months. I took 10 months off to go farm. Spirit was like, go to North Carolina. I can't explain that to anyone. They're like, why North Carolina? I don't know, but that's correct for me. So I went to North Carolina. I worked in a
How does this all work with your partner? Does he follow you?
No, we actually just reconnected a couple of months ago. Yeah, he's on his own healing journey. So that's that. But I've just been like writing solo for 2.5 years. It's like following the call. Go to Alabama. Lived in a trailer for 2-3 weeks. Almost frozen. I'm not joking. Like, almost really, like, the pipes broke. Like 3 days. And I was like, oh, people actually live like this in Buffalo. I don't even remember that snowstorm they had in Buffalo. Wrote a song about that. Went to Tennessee. Wrote some more music. Lived on the mushroom farm. When I was at the mushroom farmers were like, yeah, this is going to be a healing space. And I was like, ding, ding, ding. This is why I'm here. And I forgot about that mission until I was there. And I was like, oh, I'm supposed to heal myself first. I'm supposed to get really clear on what I'm doing and not let anything shake me. And then I can move on and come back to New York City. And so New York City was like, you coming back? And I was like, yeah, I'm coming back in June. We drove through the night, through Virginia, all that stuff. Got to the gig, strapped a tire on to do this this acting thing for this company. And I was like, what is my life right now?
Listen, man, I can't say I relate to your life in any way, but I understand you in the sense that, like, you know, I understand your energy and where you're coming from and sort of what you're looking for from your life. It's absolutely, like, I can't imagine myself in it. I live a very different life. Yeah. But I do want to help you. I want to help you figure out what's like the right thing to do within that lifestyle that you want to live. Yeah. And your partner, is he making any money right now?
No, he's interviewing and is transitioning. I feel like he's in the spot I was last year.
Okay. And he wants to live a similar lifestyle. He's also not a 9-to-5 or not?
No. Okay. He's too smart for that. No. Not to say that people with 9-to-5 are not smart, but he has he has his own journey that's being called of him in his own, like, spiritual path that he has to honor. I'll say that. And everybody has their own spiritual path they have to honor to build what they have to build.
So answer me this one question. Where you're at right now, financially, emotionally, do you feel happy? Do you feel like more peaceful or not yet?
The most I have been in a 1.5 years. The most, like, okay, I know it's not like the best situation. Like, my feet are always cold and I have to think about charging my thingy to make sure I have lights in the van, you know.
But that's a life you chose for yourself.
Correct, and it's a sacrifice too. I have to remind myself that why I'm doing this.
Meaning that it sounds like that's what's important to you. Yeah. If that's what's like, you can't have your cake and eat it too, right? You can either live that lifestyle and live in a van and, you know, make the money that you're making and, you know, not surf the matrix, not surf the matrix, whatever it was.
Yeah, not surf the matrix.
Right?
Yeah.
Not surf the matrix. Or, you know, you can live like a more traditional life. And and I'm, like I said, I'm not knocking this life for you, but that's the life you've chosen. And so, you know, those sacrifices are ones that they should be worth it to you in exchange for for the freedom that you get.
Absolutely. Yeah. No, I want to specify too about not serving the matrix is not serving fear. Yeah. If anything, right? Like fear of like, oh, what if this? Maybe I have to go do this. It's like, nah, like if you're straight with yourself and you know what you're doing, like you don't have to worry about shit. Like God has your back. Like I don't know. And like this is what I really want to like drive home. Like without God, like without prayer, without spirit, without this thing that all of us are connected to, it's like, all right, good luck. Yeah. Pretty much. Like
what sacrifices aren't you willing to make? I think maybe that's a good place for us to figure out, because if we can figure that out, we could be like, okay, how do we cover those potholes? And then I feel like that's really all you need.
I have this app. I know you make apps, and so I want to tell you about this pothole app that I had this idea of. I want people like carry this like cement things on the ground. When you see a pothole, just like squirt a bunch of cement in the ground. Okay, that's all I wanted to say about that. What was the question again, Rachel?
The question was, what are the sacrifices you're not willing to make?
I'm not willing to do something that makes me miserable.
Okay.
In the littlest ways. For example, I was really excited to teach in this school in Connecticut this week. I was scheduled to work 3 times this week. I had X amount of hours. I got there, public school in Connecticut. I got there and my partner was lighting sage in the van. The security officer comes on, knocks on the window, aggressive. I come out, I give him my aggression, and he's being condescending. Do you know you have to send it? I'm like, I've been teaching for 15 years. I know the protocol. Long story short, I go back. My supervisor's like, they don't want you to return. They requested a different teacher. So I had a great time with the kids. Like, my kids came up to me. I've never met these kids before. They gave me gifts. They made little fans for me. I know I'm a great teacher. It's that energy that like doesn't want to change. It wants to keep its fear. It wants to keep its weird discipline thing that I don't vibe with. I can't sacrifice that.
When you do sort of interview for these jobs, do you let them know in advance? Hey, 100%. This is my life. I live in a van. I burn sage, and they're like, that's fine. It's
not the company. It was it's a third party situation.
So that's annoying because you told them, right? I mean, in my mind, it sounds to me like it's not an issue of traditional jobs. It sounds like it's an issue of specific people and bad experiences that you've had in the past. I feel like you could find a more traditional job that would pay you more where they won't give you these demands, where you come in and you say, hey, these are my qualifications. I'm a great teacher. I'm great with kids. I do some wacky shit and that's my thing, and that's what you have to be okay with.
The business that I work for right now, they have no problem with me. That it wasn't with them. It was with the school. The school lied. The school lied and then told their third party who told my supervisor. They lied about me not wanting to move my van. He didn't ask me to move my van. They lied about me being reluctant to show them my ID. That's a lie. As soon as I was moisturizing my face and I took my wallet, that's a lie. So they were just lying so that they wouldn't have me back in the space because I gave them, I stood up for myself, and they don't like that. And again, I don't serve the matrix. I'm not gonna placate and be nice and stuff.
I don't think everyone's like that. I think that how many experiences have you had in the past like that?
Rachel, I got fired from a beautiful job that I loved for 5 years because I showed a video of the slaughterhouses in Black Wall Street. When I talk about these things, we have to talk about racism, inherent racism that exists in predominantly white spaces. And it's so weird because I never grew up with that consciousness. I grew up in an Asian culture. To me, I'm a human. I don't even know if I'm human sometimes. I'm just this thing, right? Doing the thing that I'm supposed to go do. But then I forget that people see me, that I don't, does that make sense? I don't see myself the way people see me. To me, I'm not an Asian woman. To me, I am...
It's a person.
Yeah! So my boyfriend was like, yeah, because you're not white. And I'm like, what? No. There's a thing that is my mind was no, that's not why. That's not why. But maybe it is.
So what does that have to do with anything? I think you're thinking about it too much, personally.
Yeah, I don't even want to think about that at all, really. I was just so I went back and I was like, okay, it's okay. I can go back for spite. I told my supervisor, he was like, no, we can't send you back. We're going to give you... So I was like, okay.
Listen, this is something that I think I probably I'm not qualified to even think about or understand the things that you've been through from that perspective in terms of these jobs. I think it's something you need to think about because I think there's a difference. Okay, let me put it this way.
Yeah.
I think there's a difference between you doing you outside of school time, right? And getting shit for that.
Yeah.
As opposed to during school time doing something that some people might find, you might not find objectionable. Some people might find objectionable for whatever reason.
Yeah.
I don't see that as being again, this is my opinion personally. I don't see that as them kind of pushing you down and not allowing your opinion. Listen, you're educating someone's kids. Right. They might have their own way that they want their kids to be raised.
Yeah.
I know you feel probably that you have this responsibility to educate them in what's important and what you feel is important.
Right.
But I don't think that's your job. Your job is to educate them in the basics. how to care for each other, how to love each other, how to share, how to...
But if a kid's pointing fingers at another kid, I'm going to speak out about that.
No,
you know
100%.
I mean? And that's what they didn't like, that I stood up. A kid was bullying another kid, and I told that kid to...
But you're telling me that you're showing certain videos, and that was why.
Yeah, that was like 2019 that I was doing that.
Yeah. You don't even want to be in a space where you feel like you have to police your own, what you show and what you talk about.
Nah, that's why I started my own shit.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Listen, like I said, like it's...
Because the kids want to learn about this stuff. The kids are eager to talk about these difficult things, that they can't have any other space to talk about these things. They want to know the truth. I just can't do it in the system that is founded upon lies. You know, like the U.S. land. That's, you know, this is a different conversation.
This is again a different. Listen,
but it's all connected to like why I do what I do and why I show up the way I show up.
I get that.
Yeah.
Listen, I'm not here to talk politics or opinions, or I think it's clear to me that right now in the world everyone's got their own truth.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
what you want to share is important to you. When it comes to kids, it's just tough.
Yep.
So if that's not an environment you want to be in, then so be it. Because
I do want to be with my kids. I do.
I'm saying in like that public
a traditional
school.
Definitely. Yep.
So in terms of the things you aren't willing to sacrifice, forget about the income side. What about the expenses side? So what are some lifestyle things, like the way that you live day to day, that you're not willing to sacrifice? The things that you have.
I'm not willing to sacrifice on food.
Yeah.
I'm not willing. Well, that's also a little bit like I turned away from a $13 burrito today and used my whatever money I have left on my EBT card to get sushi, even though I really wanted a burrito. So I can't really even say that's true.
Okay.
I'm unwilling to sacrifice on cat food, the type of cat food that I get, Mika. The gas, I don't want to have to like think about, I can't go here because I pay for gas. I'm going to be able to go. There's a whole reason why I live in my van. I want to be able to go wherever I want to go and not worry about that. I'm not willing to sacrifice on being like safe.
Yeah.
So if I need to see the doctor, I will go see the doctor.
Yeah.
If I want to get
Medicaid?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. If I feel like it's time to get my nails done, I want to be able to go do that.
Yeah.
My facials, I'm really insistent on like care for my body stuff.
Yeah.
That's something that I'm not willing to sacrifice anymore because I've done that for the last 10 years and I've hurt myself a lot along the way because I did that. Stuff like that. Like stuff that involves the animal, my partner, and myself.
Yeah.
In terms of being safe and healthy. I'm not willing to sacrifice on those things.
Okay. So, I mean, based on everything we looked at, I feel like where you're at right now financially, in terms of your expenses, there's not that much wiggle room. So it's tough to, again, unless you take more advantage of the benefits.
Yeah.
So I think that's probably the first step.
Yep.
Where you should go. On the income side, I'm trying to devise ways to help you. It's tough because it's like when you can't operate in sort of a traditional environment, it's really difficult to figure that out.
Yeah.
And I think that you're doing the right things in terms of investing in your craft and the creative work that you're doing, and I really hope for you, and I'll pray for you that those things like that they're fruitful and that they bring you the income that you want.
Yeah.
But in the meantime, it seems like you're keeping yourself afloat. You're doing the things you need to do. You're paying off your debt, meaning you're not in a proverbial shithole, so to speak.
Yeah.
And let's think about it this way. In that case, what's your total credit limit? Not how much balance you have, but like how much do you have in limit that you can tap into if you need to?
Like 3,000.
3,000. Okay. I mean, listen, I don't want to ever suggest to anyone to use it, but you have that in case that, something does happen and you need to use it. To be honest, I feel like you're in the place you need to be right now, from my perspective. I don't know if that's what you wanted to hear.
I had no expectations, of doing this. It felt correct to show up and to at least talk to someone who knows what they're doing.
Yeah.
To get someone else's, you being a woman as well. I've only spoken to men about my finances. And I'm just thinking, I was just telling my partner, I'm so proud of myself that I'm able to even like afford what I'm able to afford now. than I was. Girl, like 6 months, where are we in right now? May, April, March. Last year, come $40 in my bank account last December to get myself out of Alabama, drive an hour and a half to Tennessee.
Yeah.
Like, that was where I was at.
Yeah.
No, like, not joking. Like, that was it. Like, I paid my phone bill because I have a Patreon account. And I had the 7 or 8 Patreons pay for my phone bill. And that's how I'm able to keep my phone. I'm able to get around to find, you know, like...
Yeah.
And then I started working for a startup. And I was getting paid $80 a week. And that was just, like, I was like, okay, I'm rich now. I'm rich. I've made it. Dead ass. Like, so where I'm at now, having what I have, I'm just like, it's possible. And I'm on TikTok, and I've like triggered a lot of people with what I've been saying about poverty mindset, because it doesn't only apply to people who are in poverty. It's a mindset, it's a consciousness, it's a, do I still need to take toilet paper from, you know,
you know what I mean? It's like, can I use 1 or 2, or do I need to buy 1 ply, or fuck 1 ply toilet paper.
Yo, for real.
that is the worst invention ever. I don't know who decided that was a good idea. 1 ply, nobody should be using
poverty consciousness. Nobody's like, yes, we can afford 2, so we're gonna do 1. We're just gonna make more money. It's just like that. It's just like, no, we can. If we, oh my god, everyone's butts deserve softness.
No. So, listen, I think you're in the right place. If I were in your shoes, like I said, I can't imagine myself in your shoes.
You wouldn't try? I would try
for van life? Oh my god, no. I mean, I would live in a van, but the political stuff we can talk about afterwards.
Yeah.
I would try living in a van. That would be cool. I do like the creative work. Obviously, we're doing a podcast, so I do like this work. Yeah. It's actually the best part of my job, funny enough.
Yeah.
For those of you that don't know what Debbie is, so it's an app that rewards people for positive financial behavior. So things like saving money, paying off their debt, improving their credit, spending less. As opposed to, if you think about the way the financial system works today, the only incentives that most financial institutions give is for spending more money, right? So credit card points.
Right.
And they work super well, right? In the sense that people love using their credit cards. And they get more points. Yeah. And when you think about behavior change, right? When people want to actually improve their finances or improve anything in their life, they want to work out more, they want to lose weight, be healthier. The strongest driver of behavioral change is positive reinforcement and incentives. Yeah. It doesn't exist in finances beyond credit cards. When you think about paying off debt, it's all punishments, right? It's credit score dings, it's late fees, it's overdraft fees. Punishments work well once. After that, I don't know if you've ever heard this concept, but when you tell someone that they are something, even if they aren't, they start believing it. They internalize it. Yeah. When you tell a kid, you're a bad kid, you're a bad kid. They're like, well, I guess I'm a bad kid. I'm going to keep acting bad, right? That's why you tell kids, you're a good kid, but you're not acting like a good kid does, right? So that they don't internalize that they're now a bad kid. So what the financial system has done to us is told us that we're bad, that we deserve punishments. Yeah. And eventually when people keep getting those fees, they think, well, I guess I'm a person who gets fees. I guess I'm a person that's always late. I guess I'm a person that always uses debt.
Bad with finances, that
is bad with finances. And it's hard to get out of that. Yeah. And so our goal as a company has been to make the process of finance fun, to reward people for the good shit they do with their money. So that is what Debbie is, what Debbie does. You could cash out at $50. You earn points that essentially allow you to get there in like 3 to 6 months is what we've seen so far. Okay. And we also have a marketplace where people can refinance their debt. So we help them find lower rate loans, primarily from credit unions, so community financial institutions that offer way better rates than most banks, most fintech lenders. Yeah. So we help someone go down from 20% to down to 9% APR on 20K of debt. So
give me chills. Yeah.
So that's a little bit about Debbie and what we do. Well, anyway, any parting thoughts? Anything you want to leave me with? Any other questions you have for me? Because like I said, I think that for what you've told me, obviously you've got some debt. You have a little bit of savings. You're not making that much, but you're getting there. Yeah. You're growing it. So. You tell me.
Yeah, I would say I'm not willing to sacrifice on this. I will only get Sam's natural coconut. This is everything, so I would do this. I was gonna say something about the Matrix stuff, but that has left my mind now, so I can't remember what that is.
We'll talk about it afterwards.
Yeah. it'll come up when it wants to come up. But that's all I have right now for you. Yeah.
Okay. Well, thank you.
Thank you. Yeah.